Joined with the UIW head football coach, Eric Morris. Coach, thank you so much for joining me.
Good to be here.
The last time we talked was in July. You and your team were in a situation where you hadn't been in person that much, really, especially with the pandemic. How have you taken strides and what have you been able to do since then?
Yeah, our kids have been amazing. First of all, just the resilience that they've shown, being able to be on campus for 5 or 6 months now, and still have to do the protocol, being tested, 3 times a week, having to wear masks everywhere. Everything's pretty much moved virtually for us as far as meeting time. So it's been hard for them. I've worried about their mental health at times, just because, when we finish a long day up here at the office, we're able to go home to our families and have a little bit of normalcy. And then they have to go to their dorm rooms. They're all in single dorms by themselves for the most part. And really, they're not allowed to leave and do any kind of functions on campus. So it's been tough. I've worried about them the whole entire time, but they've done a great job with it. But I think now that we're finally getting to play football, it's been hard for them to sit back and do all the protocols that everybody else was doing, and they got to play, and we didn't. It was kind of hard for them to understand and experience, but happy to get back out there and compete again.
Finally, being able to take the field after a year plus. What is your team looking like in terms of just, I know you were bringing in a handful of transfers and new faces, as well as some returners. How have they been able to mix and gel together?
Yeah, it's been good. The one unique thing is that these freshmen have gotten a whole semester of practice before we'll ever play, and this won't count for their eligibility. So I think it's really given some of our young guys an opportunity to not only learn the playbooks, but actually to get out there and have enough reps underneath their belt for them to push for a bigger role starting this spring. So I think you'll see more young guys. We were going to play Arkansas State there at the end of the year last year in November. Got canceled, unfortunately, but I think we were going to start 3 or 4 true freshmen in that game, and so that only came to fruition because we had so many practices in between, when we started camp to when that game was. So yeah, these freshmen, I told them last week they're not freshmen anymore, and so have a bunch of good players on this roster, like where we're at, offensively and defensively, a bunch of leadership, that we have guys that have had a lot of in-game experience, and we're going to mix that in with a bunch of young talent and a lot of young speed, I think.
Who are a couple individuals in particular who you've really been impressed with in this preparation time?
Yeah, it's been good. On the defensive side of the ball, I think our linebackers have really grown. We have a group there with Gerald Bowie coming back, Isaiah Paul coming back, and then Kalechi Analabechi is a kid that played defensive end for us last year, was the second team all conference kid, and we moved him to linebacker. And he's really shocked me the way he's really improved his game, has been able to really adjust to that position nicely. So excited about our linebacking core. And then, on the offensive side of the ball, we had a bunch of young receivers last year. And I think that then having the time to grow, all of them played as freshmen last year, but you're talking about CJ Hardy and Camden Perry, guys that have now played a lot of football around here and know the playbook like the back of their hands. Really looking to excited to see what their next jump is. I think it'll be a really big one from the last time they played ball.
For you, I know you talked about the youth and the young people that you have on your team. How have you seen them really mature and grow during this experience and everything that they've had to overcome?
Yeah, it's been unique. The one interesting thing right now is we're not able to get kids together and do all the team bonding, team experiences things that we usually do, in a normal camp. So not having team meetings, we're split up in 2 locker rooms. So I think it's been hard for these freshmen to really get a true grasp on what a normal college life looks like, just because it's been so bizarre and we want to keep them apart as much as we can. So we've done some interesting things on Zoom to try to get to know each other better, and bring kids in, one or two at a time, to spend some quality time with them. But it's definitely been unique. I think what's allowed us to grow together is that we're going through this tough thing together. It's not just us; it's the whole entire United States. It's the whole entire football community, the whole entire conference. Everybody's kind of having to play by the same rule just to keep everybody safe. So yeah, I think that's one way we've grown together is just understanding that that we have to do this together, and unity is more important now than ever.
Last year 2019 was your second year there at UIW, going into year 3. What are your expectations for this year?
Yeah, we're going to have to be able to sustain a whole entire season this year. We started off really strong. I think halfway into it, we were tied for first in the conference, won some really key road games, and then late in the season, we really fell off. I mean, we lost our last 4 or 5 games. That's not a secret. That's something that's left us with a bad taste in our mouth throughout this entirely way too long off season that we've had. So yeah, our coaches are really anxious to get on the field. I think that we have a lot to prove this year. Our kids have been working extremely hard, so just excited to see everybody get back out there. We opened with Sam Houston at our place. A team that probably has the best defense in this conference coming back. So we'll have a tough challenge to start off the season with the Bearcats coming to San Antonio, and hopefully in the next month we can get prepared for that.
You mentioned the incredibly long off season. What will your message be to the team when you finally are in the locker room in preparation for that first game against Sam Houston?
I don't think I'm going to need any kind of raw message for them at that time. I think that naturally that this time away from the game has really, showed these guys how much we truly love to get out and compete. And, at times I think we take this for granted, the lives we live and the sports that we play. So, I think that they'll be bulling at the mouth by that time. So I think it'll kind of be a reverse thing where I try to be a little bit more calm just to show them, some calm nature in front of them so that they're not go out there and be too amped up.